helpful. So I'm going to. Okay. So the main thing with ASIP is that it's an app for doing checklists, and then we have a lot of flexibility for setting up what things we want to be on that checklist, and it can be for different types of equipment. So the main thing is that Mifflintown and Chambersburg have actually been using this for the last year, and it's been going well. They got the bugs worked out. We got the integrations with EquipSoft, and we feel it's stable and ready to roll out to the other stores. So, our goal would be to have you use this for your off-season inspections. We think that there's a lot of benefit from standardizing things. So that's the goal here today, is to show it to you so that we can figure out what are the next steps for getting this implemented at your location. So actually, the person doing the demo today, I don't know how many of you have met Angela Bryan, but she's our business analyst. She's been working at Hoover for a number of years in the parts department, but started up here this spring, and she's been taking over all the EquipSoft responsibilities from me. So she handles the EquipSoft help email. She's, after about 6 months now, I think I have her completely cross-trained on all things EquipSoft, but obviously there's some new things each day. But anyway, she's doing not only the support of the system, but also she'll be doing the training and some of this ongoing development of new projects. So I'm going to actually have her do the whole demo just to show you just a high level how EquipSoft works. So Angela, are you able to share your screen, or do I need to put that up?
I can share it. Connecting. All right, can you guys all see my screen?
It's loading.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
All right. So we're going to start with kind of some high-level benefits, things that are just completely different from what we do now, but also things that are enhanced or much easier and more efficient compared to how we do things now. The first thing is that all the inspections will be consistent across every tech, every store. We create and then get the inspections loaded into ASIP, so all the Hoover stores use the same ones that we created based off of prior checklists that we already had and were using sometimes. We can also make changes to those checklists. We can add checklists and inspections. So, but everybody will be standardized across the stores. Techs can add pictures to the inspection right from their phone. The tech does the whole inspection from their phone. They don't need to get their laptop out anymore or write things down on a piece of paper or whatever they were doing before, no spreadsheets. They open the app, download the inspection, start going through the checklist. As they're going through that, at each section you can take a picture, add it, good visualization for the customer to be able to see, oh, this is exactly what's wrong. This is the wear. This is the breakage, whatever. There won't be any more double entering. Once the things are in the inspection, they're there, and everybody can access it across the service and parts departments. So once the parts are in there, it's really just an integration to pull into EquipSoft, no typing. With ASIP, you can easily follow up later on repairs that the customer said they don't want to do right now, but they might want to do in the future. You can set up reminders and it'll tell you, hey, talk to this customer, 3 months down the road or whatever about this thing that he needs to get fixed. The last thing is like a quick inspection some of the stores are doing, where every time a unit comes into the shop, they do like a 5-minute walk around and hit a couple key points, take a couple pictures, and we can go back to the customer and say, hey, you brought your tractor in so we could replace the radiator, but we also noticed that your headlights cracked, your seats ripped, X, Y, Z, and kind of increase service sales that way. So those are kind of the main benefits that we see of the app, and it's also a website you can get onto on your computer.
Yeah, and that's actually the main thing that ASIP's original intent was for, is for those, essentially the quick inspections where they felt that they have other customers who are adding a lot of business because, the biggest thing they say is a picture's worth 1,000 words, that anytime a unit comes in your shop, you should just do a quick walk around, see if there's anything that's wrong, quick snap a few pictures, and that's the easiest way to get the information to the customer, and it's an easy upsell. So there's essentially two different pieces that, as Angela goes through this, you can be thinking it's two different purposes. One purpose would be sort of the quick inspection when we have a unit in our shop for other repairs, and then the other one would be our actual uptime inspections that, are much more of that planned maintenance in the off season. And there's two different checklists. So think of it as that, there's two different things that we can use this for.
So this is kind of the overview of how the whole process works. So customer calls in and schedules a job. We'll just use an uptime as an example. They call in and say, I want uptime on my combine. The manager says, okay, they create a service order. From the service order, they make the inspection and assign it to the tech who's going to go perform that work. Then, as soon as they do that, it sends the inspection to the tech's app on their phone. So now the tech is out at the customer's farm. They're in front of the combine. They download the inspection and start going through it, mark everything, take pictures, whatever they want to mark down. Then they come back in-house, use their computer to look up the part. All that gets loaded into the inspection. Then it goes to the parts department who can clean it up, take care of any substitutions, supersessions, pricing issues, anything like that, typos. Then it goes back to the service manager who then sends the estimate to the customer so they can decide which sections that they want to repair. Once they do that, the manager marks that inside the inspection, and it goes back to parts to pull parts, order parts, whatever, so that the work can actually be completed. Through that whole thing, so obviously the tech has to put down the results the first time, and they have to look up the parts. But after that, there's no typing in of parts again or anything. It all just rides with the inspection the whole time. Then, so kind of to zoom in on each of those steps. So the manager creates the inspection and equips off. You can see there in the screenshot, there's a drop-down box with all the inspections we have now. We can add more. If there's something wrong with one that's in there right now, we can change it. But you pick the one that pertains to the unit you're working on, and then just hit one button, and it just makes the inspection inside the ASIP website.
And that button is on the allocation screen. So I think people are
you have to assign a tech.
I think people are typically doing it like when they assign a technician to the job, they just basically click this button to also, from EquipSoft, send the inspection.
So now the tech is going to do the inspection. The screenshot on this side here is of the app. If it passes, if a particular section passes, it's just one tap and that's it. You're good to go. If there's something wrong, you pick if you're gonna, repair, replace. If it's missing, you can add something. Type in notes, pick timing, saying like this is crucial. They really need to get taken care of now, as opposed to they just need to watch this or whatever. And the tech can estimate how many hours they think it will take, and also take any pictures of the damage. Then once the tech is on their computer back at the shop and is looking up what parts they need, the CNH parts books are integrated inside ASIP, so you don't ever have to leave ASIP. You just can get right into the diagrams from there for any case units that you're working on. The cool thing about it is that after you do a specific repair in a specific section multiple times, it starts to remember where you went in the book to get those parts. So after you do it, say 3 times, if you replace the headlight on a Magnum, then it'll go right to that section in the book when you open up the diagrams in that section. Any other vendors that you would inspect, JCB, Kubota, whatever, you would still have to look up the parts in their books outside of ASIP, but you could just paste them into the inspection then. So then after the tech gets all the parts in, the list goes to the parts department. This is what their screen looks like. They can clean it up a little bit, make sure there aren't any missing prices, substitutions, things like that. So once they're convinced that it's accurate, then it goes back to the manager who sends the estimate to the customer. This is some shots of what that estimate looks like. It details what parts we're planning on using to fix, how much they cost, what we're estimating the labor is, broken out by section. Your pictures also show up there. And then at the bottom there would be like a grand total of labor, parts, everything together, breakdowns. So then the customer says, okay, I want to do sections 1, 3, 7, 28, and then it goes, once they tell the manager that, the manager can mark that in the inspection, which is this screen here. If the customer wants to do Huber to complete the entire thing, parts and labor, or they can say, give me the parts, I'll fix it. No, I don't want to do it, or I don't want to do it right now, but talk to me later about this. I might want to do it then. So the manager marks that in the inspection, and then it goes back to parts to order full parts, and then the work can be done. That's kind of the overview of how it works. Do you guys have any questions?
What? Yes, I had one question. Is the other stores having technicians put it on their personal phones?
It's on their Huber phone.
Yeah, so it is. It's a third-party app that can be downloaded from the app stores, and so right now, with us having provided a smartphone, for technicians, it's going to be downloaded on that. But if for some reason someone is using a personal phone, they are able to download the app as well.
Okay. Most of the technicians in the shop are only personal devices.
Gotcha. And is that, I assume, have you talked with, we don't need to get into cell phones and the new plans. I'm assuming they're not planning to join the Huber plan either?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. So yeah, it's possible, it works. I think the key there is, if they don't want to buy a phone under the Huber plan and, they would prefer to use their own phone just as a tool. Yes, we can. This app is, just like any other app, it's downloadable from the App Store, and they can sign in and be good to go.
Is the app free?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I know. So like I said at the beginning, we're going to do we will actually do a training webinar. Actually getting into the app and showing you the screens and getting a comfort level with it. But our main thing today is to just go over that sort of that basic flow so that you can see how it works. So before we get into the timing and sort of plans for rollout, any other questions for Angela just on the sort of the app itself, or how does it handle this situation? Is there any other questions you guys have about sort of the actual flow of the app?
Did they have great success with it? You said Middletown was using it with the Kubota side?
No, that's a good question. So it was Mifflintown and Chambersburg that had done all of the preliminary testing for the past year. So Kubota, if you remember, I had asked for a checklist from you guys a while back. So what we did was we took your checklist and combined it with what Middletown was using, and it was pretty much the same, just with a few tweaks. And then we had ASIP load that in. So we just actually did the same demo with Middletown yesterday, and Angela's going to work with Jason there at Middletown to make sure that he goes through and does some like samples with the Kubota list just to make sure everything looks fine. So Middletown was using a checklist, a paper version of the checklist, and so we basically, and they had a lot of success with that. We're just adding the element that they can check it off on their phone now and include pictures. And I think that's one of the biggest things that we've found, and that the guys will sort of attest to is, first off, right now it's a pain in the butt to get any pictures from technicians through you to customers, other than like them texting directly from their phone. And so this gives a way to immediately pull those pictures in, include it with the quote, and then the customer can see the issue, click a button, see the picture that shows the wear, and say, oh yeah, I want you to fix it. So that's the idea. So I'm not too concerned with the fact that we haven't had Kubota stores using it, because we're basically using your same checklist, and it's just different bullet points than the ag side. But and if there is a need to add something or remove something, we can customize it. And if for some reason there's something that you and Middletown see differently on a Kubota, a specific Kubota checklist, like, we have the ability to do it differently. We want to start from a standard perspective, but if there's another list that needs added for a specific type of equipment or a specific store, we can do that. So any other questions on the sort of the flow itself?
I think we're okay, Tyler.
Okay. Well, I think one of the logical next steps is going to be to get it to you guys to play around with it a little bit and just sort of get a feel for how it works. But I guess my question for actually both of you, because I think you may have different answers, and that's fine. But thinking of the Kubota guys, and thinking of the ag guys, what do you think is a sort of a logical rollout plan for your side of the shop? Because we've seen stores do it both ways. Like, for example, at Middletown, I think all the Kubota guys are going to start using it at the same time, and just sort of working through it together. Whereas I think on the combine inspections, they're going to have one guy get trained on it, start using it, get comfortable with it so that he can essentially, be the spokesperson to tell the rest of the guys that, yeah, this works. Let's do it this way. So we can go either way. We just want to hear from you. Do you want the next step be for us to train your whole team, or do you want us to, start with one person, one or two people to start it? So what thoughts do you have there? And, and we can do something different for Kubota and Ag.
Tyler, I'm good with doing everybody on my team at one time.
Okay. What are you thinking, Boa?
All right, Tyler. So we're playing. You got that? Turn Joe's down. We're playing who can talk and who can't because if.
Yeah, I can see that. You guys figured it out. You just have to switch the microphone. What are you thinking, Bubba?
I'm thinking both. I'm thinking it's probably a good idea to train them all. At least my road guys that are doing these combine inspections. Turn your thing down there, Joe. Joey's not cooperating.
Yeah, there we go.
But still reserve the thought of maybe once we get our head around it, do we start with one guy? So if we have complications on our end of handling it, that we only got one guy going through it. So as far as training goes, I only have the 4 road guys. It's probably good to just get them all on the same page and then have a person that goes forward right out the box. But that's up to what y'all want done. I can rethink that a little bit, but that's my initial thing. If I'm going to train them, it kind of helps if you got them all together. Someone may have a question that another one might not bring up. Somebody gets caught up quicker. What are they doing up there? Did everybody go at one time, or did you send a scout out first?
Yeah, so we did have a meeting and train them all at one time of, basically the walkthrough of here's how it works. Let's download the app. Let's show you how to, we're going to assign you, an inspection, and you walk through it. And we sort of did that initial training together. And again, if someone misses it, we can record that for, the next person to use. But then sort of to ease into it, there were 1 or 2 guys who already do the majority of the inspections that became sort of the expert on it. So we sort of trained everyone, but then, not everyone immediately had an inspection assigned to them.
That's kind of what I'm thinking also, Tyler.
Okay. So what time frame do you guys think for what time frame do you guys think for actually having the pooling the techs in a conference room and trying that? I mean, the other thing, we're open to doing this 2 different ways. Like, we can do it on a sort of a live conference call like this, or we also, Angela could do like this exact thing and just record it, and it's a YouTube video that they can watch, or you guys can watch on your own time with them, and not have to be live. What do you think would work best for you?
Well, on the surface, if it's live, you can do some interaction and questions being answered. But with the YouTube version, it allows me not to pull my whole fleet out of service at one time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, so what you so yeah, either way, like, to get the YouTube video, we will probably be recording a live meeting. So I think what you can think through is, how many of your people do you want to invite to the live meeting? I mean, you can have it be, you, Jody, Steve, and, 2 technicians have a live meeting, and we record that, and then you share it YouTube with everybody else. Or you could pull 8 guys into that meeting, and have the YouTube one for, the one guy who was missing. So I think the live meeting needs to happen to actually even to train you guys. So
Right.
I think maybe the next logical step is to do that, and then you can determine amongst yourselves if you want to pull technicians into that meeting, or if you want to just record it and have them, watch it afterwards. And, and then obviously, Angela will be available to support and ask questions, that they might have after the video. And then I think there will be a time, in the next month or two, when Angela will be down there for doing some of the other EquipSoft training, that she will also be able to, do any, follow-up questions on this as well. So when do you guys know your schedule? I mean, we don't need to land it today, but rough ballpark, are you soon ready to do sort of that live training webinar with Angela? Also, I think you both are muted, so if one of you is talking, I don't hear you.
Well, I opened the floor because I was looking for anyone to talk, because it appears that his Kubota stuff is already coming in. So I want to get his opinion on how soon. It looks like we want to kind of move forward with it. Jody, I'm going to mute so you can talk if you want.
Tyler, off the top of my head, I'm thinking the week of the 18th, somewhere in there.
Yep. That would work. So I would say just pick a point person on your end to look at everyone's calendars and communicate with Angela, and just nail down a date of saying, hey, here's when Angela is going to be available. We're going to do a live training. She can pull up the phone on her, on the screen, and show you how to click through stuff. We also have some written documentation, that we'll send you as well. And we can actually, help get the apps installed on the guy's phone. So you guys work together, pick a date sometime that week, and then we'll have it recorded so that if you can choose how many techs you want to invite to the meeting, or just we'll just record it and it'll be available for whoever's not there. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay. And actually, if you want to play around with it before the 18th, it doesn't hurt anything. We can get your accounts set up. It'll take a day or two to get the account set up. But then you guys could actually, if you wanted to mess around with it, just to get a little bit of a flavor. I mean, it's fairly intuitive. So if you're interested in that, let Angela know as well. And you can just wait till the 18th and learn with your techs too, or the week of the 18th. That's fine. Okay. Any other final questions on that? Otherwise, we'll just plan on offline. You guys working on a date with Angela, and then we'll get that nailed down. Any closing thoughts from your end?
Had one quick question. As a manager, when we're looking at what the feedback and everything that we're receiving back through this app, are we only doing it on our phone, or are we doing it on our desktop?
It's on the desktop.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so the main purpose of the phone is for, you know, the checklist as you go, and the you know, the pictures, and then you basically, when you're finished inspecting, you upload it to your computer, and then at that point the technician, they can clean it up and do more with it, or it can, you know, the manager can grab it directly. But think of it as it's at that point, then it's on the computer, and then different people can access it. The technician can clean it up, the manager can clean it up and present it to the customer, the parts department, you know, can clean up the parts. It's basically a shared file on the website. Okay. Well, I appreciate the time, guys, and, you know, good questions, good feedback, and yeah, look forward to working with you here over the next couple of weeks on it.
Sounds good, Tyler.
All right, thanks, guys. See ya.